Hello, my name's Keith Kelly and I've been asked to do a series of short videos relating to CLIL for some ongoing professional development for teachers involved in integrating content and language. So we're going to start with putting CLIL into practice, which was the title of the OUP book I was co-author to. It came out in December 2015. And at the heart of this new publication is the concept of the three dimensions of CLIL. And by way of introduction to CLIL, I'm going to talk about those three dimensions. In the book, we use the metaphor of the music studio mixing desk with three buttons: one for concepts, one for procedures, and one for language. The idea being that in any given lesson, and preparing for any given lesson, a teacher can vary the amount of support by increasing support for concepts, for example, increasing support for procedures, for example, if it's the first time students have ever done an activity like this, or by lowering the support for language if students don't need so much support. So you can vary all three of these buttons, these levers on the music mixing desk for the three dimensions of CLIL. The best context to understand how this works is by looking at a specific example. So let's take, for example, a lesson that's looking at Earth and space, and a curriculum descriptor may be pupils should be taught to describe the position and movement of the Earth and other planets relative to the Sun in the solar system. Point 2, pupils should be taught to describe and compare the planets in terms of their makeup, atmosphere and temperature. And if we take a piece of content within that curriculum description that meets some of the demands of that curriculum description, we might take a piece of text, for example, and here's one that compares three planets, and within this text description we've got Mars, Venus and Mercury, and information relating to their distance from the Sun, temperature on the planets and atmospheric makeup on the planets, comparing all three of them with each other. So the concepts look at those very things: the atmospheric makeup, the temperature on the planets, and the position in the solar system. What about procedure? Well, if we've got a text, of course every lesson can be very different, and an example procedure I'm going to give just to fit all of this within those three dimensions could be a running dictation, which, if you're not familiar with it, you have a couple of texts, the same copies of the same text, and they're placed on classroom walls at different positions. Students put in pairs. Student A is a scribe writing, student B is a runner, and student B has to, when the teacher says go, run to the text, memorize as much as they can, come back and dictate it to their partner, who begins to write it down according to the dictation from their partner. They carry on until they've finished or asked to stop, and then they check their text with the original. You can do this with points. Groups have got pairs have got 100 points. They lose a point for every word missing or every error they overlook. That's a very quick example just to put in place how a procedure decision making may work with a teacher who's never done this before. You know, you can imagine a teacher doing a little mock-up trial run of the activity with a pair of students or with themselves and a student, so that it will run very smoothly. So the procedure will run very smoothly. And within that, there's listening, there's reading, there's writing and speaking, all at the same time. And we can place that within our three dimensions and within a curriculum document context by asking, what would a three-dimensional CLIL curriculum descriptor look like? Well, it would pay attention to these three aspects. It would have a look at concepts needed for differentiating between planets in the solar system. It would have a look at what language is involved in describing the characteristics of these planets. and through what means. So the students would naturally produce language to do with adjectives from the text that they're transcribing and dictating, comparatives and superlatives, and there'd be language to do with describing ranges of temperatures and distances between the planets and the sun, and all of that would be done through the procedural skill of transcribing and producing descriptions in their pairs. That's how you can use the 3 dimensions of CLIL for preparing lessons. Next time we'll have a look at specific language skills within these 3 dimensions.